This is Ralph Sass, and I'm going over the quiz, the math portion for Chapter 6 for Managerial Accounting. And the first question we come to that includes math is question number 2. And for question number 2, what we're looking for here is the period costs for the month under variable costing. So what that is going to include is the $185,000. That is the fixed manufacturing overhead. It's going to include the $88,200. That is the fixed selling and administrative. So we've included those two. And now we need to include one other thing. And what we need to include is that variable selling and administrative. Okay? We have to include that $6 of variable selling and administrative. And the key is what do we multiply it by? And we multiply it by the number of units that we sold. Because that's how many, not the amount that was produced, but the amount that was sold. And so that will give us 29,400. And so when we do that, keep in mind that 29,400 is coming from that 69,400. That'll give me $302,600. And so the answer is D, $302,600. And keep in mind, this is question number 2. The next question is question number 3. And for question number 3, what we're looking for is the gross margin. So what we're looking for here, and keep in mind this is question 3, what we're looking for is the gross margin for the month under absorption costing. So we're looking for absorption costing. I'm going to do this on a per unit basis. It's just kind of my preference. Each unit sells for $110. That's my selling price. My variable costs are $41, so I have to subtract $41. I have to subtract the $15 of direct labor. I have to subtract the $7 of variable manufacturing overhead. And now I need to subtract the $64,800, okay? But I have to divide that by the number of units that, in this case, were produced. So I take that and divide it by 2,400, which is the number of units that were produced. And when I take 800 divided by, I get 27. So I subtract $27. And when I do all that, that gives me a $20 contribution margin per unit. Now what I need to do is multiply that times the amount of units that were sold, in this case 2,100. So I've got $20 times 2,100. So my total absorption costing gross margin for the month is $42,000. On to the next question, and this is question number 5. Okay. What we're looking for is variable costing per unit. So what we're looking for is variable costing per unit. This one, and it fits with the next couple, is really pretty simple. We're looking at the per unit variable cost. So it's the 14 plus the 22 plus the 1, which is a total of $37. The next one that I'm going to do is question number 7. Keep in mind, these are just the math problems. Whoops. This is problem number 7. And once again, all we're looking for is unit product cost under variable costing. All we have to do is add the 23, the 52, and the 4. So when we add the 23, the 52, and the 4, we will get a product cost of $79 under variable costing. So that will be question number 7. The next question that we're going to work on here is question number 8, and this is Salida. And I was like going to the end. What was the absorption costing net income last year? And it's like, wow, don't have enough information here, what have you, but in reality I do. I know that net operating income under variable costing was $97,000. I know that there were 14,000 fixed manufacturing released from inventory was 14,000. Okay, so because of that, net income went down, so I have to subtract that $14,000 of costs that came out, and my net income under absorption costing last year was 83 grand. Okay, last was 83 grand. So, correct answer is D. The next question is question number 9, and once again, this one is pretty straightforward. Unit product cost under variable costing, all we have to do is add that 12, the 13, and the 7. And so when we add those 3, we get $32. So sure enough, the answer in this case for question number 9 is 32. On to question number 10. This is question number 10. Notice, let's go to the end here and see what they're saying. We're going to put on a promotional campaign. It's going to cost $5 grand. It's going to increase sales by 15 grand. Okay. And it's for store P. So it's for a particular store. So we've got just store P here. So the first thing to realize is that of the 200 grand, okay, 56 grand is my contribution margin. So what I have for a contribution margin percent is 56 divided by 200, and 56 divided by 200 gives me a contribution margin of 28%. So my contribution margin at store number P is 28%. So notice, my sales are going to go up by 15 grand. 28% of that is going to increase my contribution margin. Okay, so my contribution margin is going to go up by $4,200. Well, that's good, but it's going to cost me $5 grand. So my contribution margin is going to go up by 42. The cost is $5 grand, so I am going to lose $800 by going ahead and do this. So the correct answer is question number A. Sales are going to decrease by $800. The next question is question number 11. And this is question number 11. Whoop. Pacific Court, whoop, gotta go back one. This is it. This is question number 11. We're looking contribution margin for product B for June. Okay, so sales for product B were 300 grand. So my sales were 300 grand. And now I'm looking for my contribution margin, traceable fixed costs, variable expenses for product B. Okay, so my variable expenses for product B were 180 grand. So that leaves my contribution margin for 120 grand. Keep in mind, contribution margin is variable costing to find break-evens, what have you. So we have, that's 120 grand, and the correct answer is question number C. And finally, the last question, okay, is, and this is question number 12. This is question number 12. And once again, I'm looking for absorption costing. I'm looking for cost of goods sold. The cost of goods sold. Well, I've got $43 is my production costs. My fixed costs are 145 grand. Okay, and I produced 5,000 units. So my fixed, my per unit fixed, okay, are going to be 145,000 divided by 5,000, and that's $29. So my total costs are $72 per unit under absorption costing. I sold 4,800 units. So since I sold 4,800 units, it's 72 times 4,800, which is 345,600. And that is answer B. That concludes my going over Chapter 6 quiz. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Thank you.